And you'll see as I'm logging into the ClubSoft system, a couple of notes that I want to point out. First, I'm logging in as an administrator. So if there's anything that we're completing, either in the application or with the polling module that you don't have access to do, you'll just want to contact your system administrator to get those appropriate permissions. The second piece is that our demo site that we're going to be doing the training on today is using the most current version of the ClubSoft product. And I understand that there are still a few clients that have not made that upgrade. Again, if there's anything we see or do that you don't have access to because of that upgrade, you may just want to contact our support team and schedule that upgrade in the next coming weeks. Now again, as I'm logged into the ClubSoft system, our polling tool is basically a way for you to ask interactive questions and include interactive questions throughout your website. It's a great way to add a little zest to pages, to give the opportunity for members to provide feedback, etc. And how I access that area in the ClubSoft system is I'll go to the top navigation and choose Web, Manage, and then you'll see an option for polling. Now under polling, I actually have the option to do both polls and poll categories. I'm going to select to go into polls first. Now, as a lot of areas for the web of ClubSoft, there are really two steps. The first is creating that poll and what you want to ask, what the answers should be, how many, when they should be able to answer it, etc. So step one, creating the poll. Step two, adding it to your website. And we have two main methods for adding it. If you just want to add a specific question to a particular page, you can. Or we actually have a polling module that will sort of consolidate all of your questions together, almost like a little survey area. So looking at this particular list, you'll see I've got a number of polls that already exist. And then I've got my icons here across the top that you may find very familiar. They're very consistent through the ClubSoft system. Going through these icons, I have the option to do a new poll, edit an existing poll, delete a polling question if I would like, or refresh the list. There's really no need to refresh the list unless you have two or more people creating polls at the same time. But otherwise, you'll see the name of your poll, the description, when it opens and closes, because you can set up sort of a start and close date for the poll, and then some other settings as well. So let's go ahead and choose to edit an existing poll. In addition to this icon at the top, I can also double-click on any item to open it up. Now you'll see here the name is something just for you and I as administrators, so we can designate this is the 2010 dessert poll versus the 2011 dessert poll. The description is the actual question that you're asking. In this case, we're asking members what desserts they'd like to see added to the menu. You also have the option for category, and this really comes into play for those clubs that want these questions to automatically update. I'll give you a great example. We have a client in Texas that actually has put in all of their polling questions for the next several months. So they have it set to start on Sunday, end on Saturday, and each Sunday they get a brand new polling question. And the members really look forward to it. They log in at the beginning of the week, want to see what, most of the questions are really humorous. They're set up by the managers. They've got a lot of, kind of a lot of fun topics for the members. And so they know each week they're getting a new poll, and the managers have set it up so that it's really, they put all the questions in and it's updating itself for the next several months. So this open and close date really allow them to sort of rotate those questions on various pages, which is nice. The category lets you designate what type of poll it is, and in many cases what area it goes to. So we may have a series of dining polls, which we might want to apply to our dining page, versus a series of golf polling questions that obviously we'd want to have on our golf page. So those categories help you designate where those polling questions should reside. Now you'll notice here next to polling categories, I've got a little looking glass. I can choose my looking glass and either select a category from the list available, or if I don't see the category that I'd like, I can simply choose to add a brand new category. Maybe I want to add a category for bridge. When I save and close, it adds. So you can add these on the fly if you like. If you decide you want to change it later, again, I can choose my looking glass, select dining. It'll update that. So all of these things are changeable. In addition to the open date and close date, which of course really control when they have the option to vote on the question. They can start voting on this question on March 1st. They can stop voting on this question after November 1st. It's no longer available, no longer available for them to give their opinion. In addition, we do allow you to give the option to select multiple things. So in this case, our question is, what desserts would you like to see added? Multiple. As opposed to, you might ask a single question like, what is your favorite dessert on the menu? In that case, you may want to limit them to only choosing one of the answers that you've provided. So that's where that checkbox comes into play. Do you want to allow them to choose multiple answers or just one? Now below, we see the number of choices. We have 2 tabs here. Choices is going to be our answers. And depending on the type of question that we're asking, the choices might be yes, no, maybe. It might be blue, green, red. In this case, it's a list of desserts. Which desserts are we most interested in adding to our menu? So here you'll see that your choices are really limitless. You could have 2, yes or no. You could have 15 dessert options. So there's no limit here. If I wanted to add a brand new choice, I can simply just click on that new line and type my new dessert. Okay. Again, if I want to do another dessert, I'll click on that line so I can continue to add to the answers that I want listed here. Okay. Now, of course, this second tab, Privileges, lets us designate who gets to answer this polling question. We may have a question that we want to ask to prospects or guests. How did you hear about, our website? How did you hear about our member guest tournament? Versus questions that might be more specific to the members, whether it's something as general as what desserts would you like to see added, or something like, would you consider such and such change to the bylaws? That brings me to a second part of discussing the polling. We really have clubs using this in one of 2 ways. The first is a very fun, interactive way to get feedback. Things like, what desserts would you like to see added to the menu? Who do you think is going to win the U.S. Open? Fun questions like that. Versus we've seen a trend really in the last year of clubs that are also using this module to get opinions and feedback about making a bylaws change. What color should the new golf carts be? Would you like to see such and such changes in the dining room? Because we have the ability to run reports and actually see the results of these polling questions, they're not only fun, in a lot of ways they can be really beneficial for collecting data from your members as well. So here the Privileges lets us control who gets to answer this question. If this is a question we want only members to be able to answer, we can. And before
Unmuted.
I close this, any questions about adding or editing a new poll?
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you add an open field category? It says other where they can type in a response?
You can't. However, we do have custom forms, and custom forms let them sort of fill in the blanks and provide information. The polling is really specifically just supposed to be a multiple choice option.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to go ahead and remute the lines and we'll continue. Now, there's no limit as to how many polling questions you can have. Again, there are a lot of clubs that will plan these in advance to switch out weekly, monthly, etc. A couple of other examples that I'll show you. Here's an option. If you could only work on one thing in your golf swing practice, what would it be? A lot of times you'll see the pros really try to get some feedback on how to best service the members. So we're thinking about doing a, couples golf workshop. What would be the best day for you? Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So getting feedback to actually make those decisions. So really, again, you have lots of different options for what those polling questions can be. But as I mentioned before, it's really designated to be a poll, a multiple choice type of question.